This is making me nervous. Oh well. This is not the best framing. Hello, everyone. It's the 20 something of November 1991. Jack Hanlon is conducting the autopsy. Oh, I appear to be missing my gloves and apron. Yes, you already know the drill. So, the body is on the slab. Let's see what the police uncovered first. So, the victim is from yesterday's apartment block fire on Drowner Street. Personal details unknown. The exact cause of the fire has not yet been determined. However, it is known that the fire started in the deceased's apartment, where the most damage was reported. The body was not found until the next morning. The tenant was naked, charred, and with severe burns. The owner of the apartment asked about the deceased. He was surprised anyone even lived there. The deceased was sitting in an armchair near the TV. Pieces of pornographic material, an ashtray, melted video cassettes, and several bottles of so-called poppers were found in the vicinity. It's difficult to assess whether any escape attempts were made. Firefighters indicated that it was probably the large quantity of poppers found near the deceased and rapid spread of the fire. Well, that's our basic question. Whether the death occurred as a result of fire or whether he was dead before it. As you can see, the body is in quite an unusual pose. For the purpose of photographic documentation, we'll leave it like that for now. This position is called the pugilistic attitude. This is due to the influence of high temperature on the muscles. The fire reaches the skin first, then the soft tissue, until the skeletal muscles are exposed. Coagulation occurs in exposed muscles due to their fibers shrinking. The extensors yield to the force of the flexors. The muscles contract and contract until the limbs become flexy and deformed. The upper ones are characterized by a triple bend, similar to a boxer holding his hands in front of him. Just 10 minutes will do it. 10 minutes for the muscles and tendons to contract, like a steak on the grill. the end, we're all just walking meat. The deceased must now be straightened out, and we need to get rid of these bindings. He looks to the deceased's neck and feet were most likely secured to his hands, and these were probably tied in front and around the crotch level. Which explains why, despite the severe burns, the deceased's limbs are not all that twisted. That's better. It's easier to straighten him now. Without taking out the magnifying glass, we already know that the deceased's skin is heavily charred and cracked. As for the other details, there are crow's feet visible near the eyes. Upper lip reveals front teeth. One of the incisors is broken. There's soot in the nostrils. The rope around the neck wasn't very tight. I don't see it leaving a mark on the skin. You can clearly see that this is primarily the front of the deceased that was exposed to fire. The rope marks around the wrists are deep and clearly visible. The victim sat in the chair the whole time, hence his back being in much better condition than this extremely burned area. The rope at the man's ankles was tied much tighter and more precisely than the one around his wrists. Looks as if a large flap of skin had detached from the calf. All in all, quite a lot can be deduced from this external examination. Soot in the nose appears when inhaling harmful and choking smoke. The eye clenching is a natural reaction of the body to high temperatures. The tissue of the mouth was heavily burned as well. The teeth, however, makes me wonder. Traces fail to indicate that the deceased suffocated before the fire took hold. Oh, that must have been terrifying. Severe burns, covering approximately 80% of the epidermis. He appears to be loosely tied. However, this is the result of the corpse drying out. The wound shows that the rope had deeply imprinted itself in the tissue. Predominance of 4th and 3rd degree burns. The burns reach through the dermis and hypodermis to reach the muscles. The body is covered in numerous areas. The length of the rope was calculated, and appears that the deceased could make limited movements around the perineum. The conclusions are quite clear. We need to check the damage inhaling all that smoke has done to the respiratory tract. It may seem incidental, but for us it's a sign that the deceased was most certainly conscious. Perhaps the deceased lost a tooth attempting to bite through the rope. It looks like the deceased was a fan of choking while masturbating. Deaths due to a predilection for asphyxophilia do occur, but not in this case. The extent of the thermal stresses on the body could have caused this death. Wounds on the wrists and ankles indicate that the deceased could have been struggling in panic. Burns to the genitals and groin are an additional concussive factor. This is due to the high vascularity and innervation of this area. The mixture of fear, sexual arousal, and drugs could have caused a heart attack. In this case, I don't assume that this was a delayed death. I will assess the extent of possible poisoning and burning in a moment. First, I'll try to establish the victim's identity. Due to the amount of charring, we are unable to collect the victim's fingerprints. Visual identification is also out of the question. You can probably guess what options we are left with. You guessed it, a dental impression. For this, I need impression trays and alkanate material. Please excuse me for a moment. What I need should be somewhere in the lab. Okay, it's going well. I should be able to get this done in time. Where are these trays? Towels, papers, jars. Nope, it's not anywhere on the counter. Maybe in this drawer. I'll warm this up in my hands. Okay, making an impression is quite simple. You put trays with alkanate into the mouth and press them together in. Once the devices have been placed. Apologies. They cannot be adjusted. Okay, again, we will need a piece of paper, a brush, and ink. We will make a plaster model of the deceased's teeth from the obtained impression. We will then make an impression of the mold on a piece of paper, which will be scanned into the computer. You see, it seems so simple, and yet laborious. On the plus side, we don't have to worry about the gag reflex with the deceased. And no need to remind the subject to breathe either. At least he's saved the high cost of orthodontic treatment. Wow, who would have expected a match so soon? Well, the deceased is Richard Jacobson, 47 years old. He had a criminal record and was recently in court for... Oh, wow. For not returning a videotape to the rental shop. Oh, Jesus. I better check if I've still got that copy of... where were we? Okay, I'll add some details to the clipboard. Okay, and we can move on to dissecting the body. This time, I'll go straight for the loppers. I'll slice it piece by piece. Let me start here. I push hard several times. Until I cut a given section. You can see that using a scalpel would be pointless here. Solid crunch. Almost there. Now we peel back the skin. Now to remove the ribs. And we can check out what's going on in here. And I see that a lot has happened. In fact, the entire abdominal cavity is flooded. Blood and other fluids have seeped from the blood vessels, flooding the abdomen and chest areas. We have to get rid of this. I'll go get a cup or a ladle. I think I saw one somewhere here. Aha. I don't have all night. I'm going to need a vacuum pump. Right. The running around for everything starts again. Why can't things be tidied away properly in this damn mortuary? I'm gonna get Ridley. I wonder where this pump is. Probably in the basement. Mr. Ridley? Mr. Ridley? I'll just go to the basement and check. Jeez. I don't know what this is for. Rusty scrap! God! Where is this infernal machine? Wow, that's heavy. Can I fit through the door with this? I swear I'm going to have an accident here one day. Like Alice, when she twisted her ankle on those stairs. We were supposed to go to the mountains then. It was supposed to be our first trip since... I don't know how long. I had so much work on my mind. And Alice...
Handman.
Because of me, as always, she had to...
Handman, are you talking to yourself or what?
Huh? What? No, I just...
There is a letter for you. I left it on your desk.
Letter? For me?
Yes, letter for you. Do I have to repeat myself again?
No. Thank you. Where were you? I was looking for you earlier.
Handman, I was retrieving your letter.
Jesus, Ridley. Could you talk to me like a human being from time to time?
I'm just answering the question.
Right. Oh, by the way, the basement hatch is wide open. Maybe you could look into it,
Maybe.
A letter. Fuck! Who delivers letters at this time? It's probably been sat in his office for ages. Just didn't want to move his lazy ass. So, we have the equipment. Now I have to place it somewhere close to the table. Phew. I can finally put this thing down. Alright, just... What? There's no tube? No one's used this for a long time. I apologize to you all once again. Aha, 3649. Okay. 3649, 3649, 3749. 3794? These lockers could contain everything we need. Or, screw it. There might be something in here. Yep. I'm sure I wrote the code down on a piece of paper. And my memory for numbers. What do we have here? Boxes of disinfectants, syringes, thread. Maybe I should take it to the office. Antiseptics. Any other stuff? Oh, that's interesting. What about here? I wanted to forget. Alice. I regret so much. Every day. Every fucking day. I can't take it anymore. Oh, God. Please. I can't. How do I... Phone. Oh. Do not think. Just don't think. Office of the Medical Examiner, Pete'sville.
Oh, Jack. I was hoping to catch you at work.
Hi, Dorothy. How's it going?
Good, thanks. And what about you? You sound tired.
Tiring day at work. That's it.
You scared me last time we spoke.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to cause any trouble and say what I said.
Jack, it's all right. You're not causing any trouble. I'm not surprised at all that.
No, really. I mean it. Sorry. I just... I'm fed up with myself.
You should take care of yourself. Didn't you say you wanted to stay at home longer? To rest? You know I pick up the slack at work.
No, I didn't. I can't. I don't want to be there.
Well, why not consider taking a trip, Jack?
Dorothy, please. I really don't have the energy for this today.
No, I just wish.
Stop it. Why are you calling?
Reminder about annual drug testing. I figured you probably didn't remember.
Oh, yes. I've, had a lot going on. I, even forgot my own birthday.
Leave your samples at reception on your way home. Someone will pick them up from Ridley in the morning. Probably Steven or someone else at the station.
Sure. I'll try not to forget. Okay, well,
Jack? Try not to do anything stupid, okay? Alcohol, your medication. No, you shouldn't.
I have it all under control. I should be getting back to work.
The results should be in tomorrow. I'll call you when we know.
Right. Thanks.
Goodbye, Jack.
Bye. Annual drug testing. I'll take care of it before I go home. I feel terribly weak. There's been a bit too much going on lately. I was supposed to collect the hose. Focus on your work, Jack. All right. Here I am. I hope that was the last long break in this session. So, let's connect the tube. We turn on the machine. With this amount of fluid, there's no point in holding back. Still a few nooks and crannies left. External examinations did not reveal any tissue defects that would reach the internal organs. So, I expect the organs to be intact. In a way, it's quite extraordinary. That even with such severe burns, skin, fat, muscles, peritoneal fascia, they can keep the insides intact. The organs are all present and correct. A reddish-pink tint indicates high carboxyhemoglobin levels, the level of which I will determine from a sample of blood. Now, what interests me here is not the presence of this substance itself, but rather its percentage content in the sample. But first, I'll need the values for the centrifuge. Ugh. I feel like I've been here forever. Jack, focus. Just a little bit longer. Corpses recovered from the site of fire may have very different and complex histories. Burning is only at the surface. Underneath, it may be a heart attack, stroke, or pulmonary embolism. This particular case appears quite basic. However, I would warn against making a diagnosis too hastily. A fire victim does not always mean death due to smoke inhalation. The centrifuge has completed its cycle. So, as usual, I will take the samples to the laboratory, and I'll be back with the results shortly. Ugh. What exactly was I supposed to test for? COHB. Ugh. I'll take 2 milliliters of each sample. Ugh. confirmed. Death due to carbon monoxide poisoning. Carboxyhemoglobin levels at 84%. Alright, I'll note this down and perform a check of the organs. What? Where? Mr. Ridley? Why did he take that fucking body? I don't understand what's going on. Maybe I think I'm just tired. Something strange is happening here. Did I imagine something? Why did you take the body?
What body?
Well, the body. You know, from the autopsy room?
Christ, Hammond. I didn't take any of your bodies.
So who took it?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
But I...
Get back to work. It's late.
I think there's... I must have been seeing things. Results. Well, then we can... From the results... We can now be sure that the carboxyhemoglobin concentration was fatal. The organ has a reddish pink tint, which results from the concentration of COHB and general congestion of the organ. Other than that, I can cross this off my list now. We will look at the lungs more carefully. From the outside, just like the heart, it is congested, and the color indicates poisoning. Thermal damage is visible here and there. Enough of the external exam. It's time to grab the knife and dissect the lungs. I need to check for any obstruction, burns, or clots. Jesus. All right. You can see changes in the lung parenchyma caused by burns and smoke inhalation. Nothing new here. So let's complete the notes. And let's check the trachea. The color is the same as the rest of the organs. Significant congestion. Let's see what it looks like inside. Okay, the final cut. There are visible burns inside, but what catches the eye the most is the amount of soot. Looks like our subject was in the thick of the fire. Let's deal with the final notes, and we're ready to go. Let's deal with the final notes, and we're ready to go. I considered the direct cause of death to be severe carbon monoxide poisoning, leading to extreme hypoxia of the body. The extreme burns on the deceased's body and respiratory tract indicate that he must have been surrounded by fire. During the examination, no other factors were found that could have contributed to the victim's death. Environmental data does not indicate any third-party involvement. Just need to add my John Hancock and sew up the body. I'll close the body, trying not to damage what's left of the skin. As for stitching, well, it varies. It can be that the fire victims are in such a condition that there is nothing left to stitch. So for this job, a thicker needle and heavy-duty thread. Well, everything's holding together. Keeping it together is, in fact, well, after storing the body, there's nothing left for me to do. But thank you for your attention. All the best, and good night. Ugh, my God. What an exhausting day. I need to get these gloves off and call a taxi. I wasn't sure it would amount to anything, but the World Wide Web has been a blessing for speeding up my work. Oh, fuck. Urine sample. Oh, no. Okay, quick. I think I have a container in the lab or office. Okay, this is it. I'm dehydrated. I should drink more water. As expected, sleeping like a log. I'm jealous. Ugh. What's going on here?
Hurricane taxi, we will take you wherever the wind takes you.
Hello. I would, like to order a taxi to 574 Presley Street.
Okay, hun. All of our drivers are busy at the moment. Best I can do is within the next hour.
An hour? Oh, no. Alright. Let it be.
Can I take your name?
Jack Hanman.
Okay, thank you. Do you have our loyalty card?
No.
Would you like to set one up? For regular customers, we have discounts and extra...
Would that make the taxi get here faster?
Well...
I thought so. Thank you. Goodbye. This is already giving me a headache. Jesus, what now? Yes, how can I help you?
Jack, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Why did you do that?
Oh my God! What was that? What the fuck? Fuck. guess the fatigue. This was some kind of mistake. An hour here. I need a drink. Oh, strong. Everything's spinning. Do I... Is this... Fucking shits. They went too far this time. What's that? Oh, fuck. Is that blood? Oh, God, what's happened? Oh, Mr. Ridley? Oh, fuck. Can't you hear all this commotion? Are you deaf?
Sure, whatever you say, Hammond.
Why is that even funny? Do I need to bring you the evidence?
Sure, if you have some. Me? I think you slept too much myself.
Go and see for yourself. I'm going home. The taxi is probably waiting.
The one that left yesterday?
Yesterday? How so?
It's evening. Friday, November 29th, Hanman.
29th of November.
Oh, sorry, I forgot that this was...
Don't worry. I did too. Somehow. I just... Oh my God.
Should I call Dorothy? I've set up the cadaver ready for the autopsy, and she should be able to replace you.
No. There's no need. I'd be happier staying here than sitting at home, alone.
Just in case, this is... let me know.
Sure. Thanks.
Handman, I'm very sorry.
Yeah, me too. Guess I should take my pills.